According to The Knot, the average wedding film costs about $1,900 in 2022. And if you're anything like me, you don't just have that kind of cash sitting around. But at the same time, more and more people are realizing that they really want the experience of having their wedding filmed and, more importantly, being able to relive their wedding day. But for a lot of those people, there's a really big obstacle in the way. Cha-ching! So why are wedding films so expensive? I'm Rachel, I'm a wedding videographer, and I'm gonna walk you through what I believe are the 5 main reasons why wedding films are so expensive. Number 1, videography is expensive. Now this sounds like a bullshit answer, so let me explain a little bit. Videography in general is really expensive. Most day-to-day people don't hire a professional videographer to make a professional video for them. It's usually like a business hiring someone to make an ad or a training video. And if you were a business hiring someone to make a branded video, you would expect to pay about $1,500 to about $3,000 per minute of final video. And that's from a semi-pro. For a normal person, that's really expensive, but for business, that's pretty typical. Now, most wedding videographers are significantly downscaled and specialized as compared to a corporate videographer, which is why your 5-minute highlight video is more likely to be about $2,000 rather than $20,000. But most people don't have that context, so when they hear $2,000 for a 5-minute video, that feels ridiculous. But in the video world, that's actually on the cheap side. The second reason is something called opportunity cost. All wedding vendors only have a limited number of weekends that we can work to make the money that we need for the whole year. My friend Cindy Savage, who's a wedding planner in Seattle, does a great job of breaking down all of the numbers. Definitely go check out her work. Until then, here's a short version. There are only 52 weekends in a year, but not all of those are actually usable since wedding season is only about 7 months long. That gives us 28 weekends to choose from. Most of us won't work 28 weekends in a row because that leads to burnout, but let's say for the sake of it that we take all 28 weekends. Most of us don't want to work back-to-back days because, again, burnout. So let's say 28 days at $2,000 per wedding, which would give us $56K, which would be a moderate salary in most of the United States, except that it's not a salary, it's just revenue. So out of that you have overhead costs, which leads me to my next point. Number 3, overhead costs. At the time of the publishing of this video, this camera that I'm recording it on is about $2,200. This camera is $1,900, this lens is $1,200, and I have 2 more just like it. This light's $200, this light's $400, I have 5 16-terabyte hard drives, that computer is $2,500, the monitors are $400, you get the idea. And that's just gear. It can cost around $500 a month just to be listed on Wedding Wire and The Knot as a vendor. Copyright law requires that we license the music in the backgrounds of our videos, and that's often a monthly subscription, in addition to Adobe Creative Cloud, Microsoft Office, Google Drive, Zoom. All that to say, being a videographer is really expensive, so that's going to play a role in why your wedding film is expensive. Number 4, location. Your location will affect the price of your wedding film. In areas with low cost of living, it might be easier to find professionals for cheaper, versus in areas with high costs of living, that could prove to be difficult. It's always possible to find someone in a different area and ask if they travel. You can sort of import your videographer if you like their style and if you can afford the travel cost. This is a tactic that I think is underutilized but can be very rewarding. And number 5, labor, skill, and experience. Cameras are complex, and videography has a lot of variables to consider, such as sound, lighting, stabilization, movement, and composition. Aside from the tech know-how, it's important that a wedding videographer is fast-thinking, personable, flexible, and innovative. A lot can change during a wedding, and rarely does everything go according to plan. So we've got to be able to adapt while still capturing the most beautiful and true footage possible. Filming weddings are often long days, oftentimes 10 to 14 hours long, and editing them can take even longer. For me, the highlight videos are actually the ones that take the longest because I'm taking oftentimes 10 hours of footage and condensing it down to the 5 best minutes, while still trying to tell a story, capture the couple's personality, and make it look amazing. Every shot needs a reason to follow the shot before it, and there's a lot to consider, but a good videographer is going to be conscientious of all of this, and they deserve to be paid for that. So yes, wedding videos are very expensive. Throwing a big party with all of your friends is really expensive. I would expect to budget at minimum $2,000 for your wedding video if you're gonna hire someone who's gonna take it very seriously, like me. Now, you always can hire Grandpa Joe, who's just gonna set up a tripod in the back there, but it's important to remember that you're always gonna get what you pay for. At the end of the day, I think it comes down to priorities. A wedding film is a great little time capsule of your wedding day in the most shareable medium in the world, so how much is that worth to you? I'm not gonna tell you to like and subscribe, so bye!